Our next town we visit is Eunice, where music also plays a big role. You could say it is the heart and soul of this Prairie Cajun community. But just as important to the Cajun culture is preserving that heritage, whether that's in the form of creating a music museum, to the preservation of a grand old theater, or even having a grandfather pass on his skills of making an accordion to his grandson. In the heart of Cajun country is the town of Eunice. The St. Landry Parish community is also known as Louisiana's Prairie Cajun capital. So what's in a name, and how did Eunice get its name? Georgie Manuel of the Eunice Depot Museum has the answer.
Eunice was a name given to the founder of Eunice, and he named it after his second wife. Eunice. Her name was Eunice Pharr. She came from a very wealthy family near Spanish Lake.
Eunice was the second wife of land speculator C.C. Duson. On one autumn day in 1894, C.C. brought a trainload of people to this site and auctioned off plots of land. As the story goes, it turned out to be quite a little party.
I remember hearing stories of, oh yeah, my grandma said they built a big fire and they started cooking gumbo and all. They fed the people, they got them in a good mood, then he got up on the flatbed and auctioned off the lots. And of course, by this time they're here, they were interested enough to come, and they liked what they saw.
And the town of Eunice was born. This bronze statue of Eunice was unveiled for the town's 100th anniversary. And even though Eunice only lived in the town bearing her name for less than a year, the rest of the townfolk began to cultivate the Prairie Cajun culture that has been passed down from generation to generation. Larry Miller is a Cajun musician and accordion maker. He is also a founding member of the Cajun French Music Association. In 1997, the CFMA opened the Cajun Music Hall of Fame, dedicated to the men and women that created and preserved the Cajun music culture. And it's only fitting that a cornerstone to this Hall of Fame began with an accordion, played by legendary musician Aldous Roger. Back in the 80s, Larry noticed an ad in the Lafayette Classifieds stating that the accordion was for sale.
I had promised Mr. Roger that it was going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
It was really a catalyst to this museum, huh?
That's exactly right. It was what we call in French a nichoir, which is like a dummy egg that you put in a nest of a chicken nest, and that motivates the other chickens to lay. Well, this became our nichoir, and it worked. It's a very important historical presentation of these musicians who have developed and recorded the music that we now enjoy. And if we don't get pictures and biographies and recordings and artifacts, how else would our succeeding generations, after I'm dead and gone, and my generation, how will our future generations know that there was such a thing, except for a few recordings?
Passing the torch also includes passing down the skills of making melodeon accordions. And at Larry's Accordion Workshop, he's handing down this passion and knowledge to his grandson, Jay.
For 28 years, I've built accordions, and I'm in the process of retiring right now from accordion building. My grandson was willing to take over the accordion building part, so he's been with me for the last 7.5, 8 years, and so he knows what he's doing, and I've willed him my accordion label, the Bon Cajun accordion label.
Another cornerstone to the town of Eunice is the old Liberty Theater. This vaudeville and silent movie house was built in 1924. The city of Eunice purchased and renovated the theater in the 80s. Did you come to this theater as a child?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, when we came here to start the renovation, people were all excited about it and wondering about it, so they would wander in and out. And so they say, oh, this is my seat right here. And we said, great, listen, take the your gum out from under the seat. This is the second oldest operating theater in Louisiana that is included in the National Trust Guide on Great American Movie Houses. The two, surprisingly enough, that fall behind it are the Sanger in New Orleans and the Strand in Shreveport.
Okay.
The Orpheum is the oldest in New Orleans.
You have a player piano in here that you could spend all day just looking at that, could you?
Absolutely. It is the original instrument that was played in the orchestra pit at the time, and by the original owners, his wife, and she accompanied the silent movies on it. There's an energy here that you really can't reproduce it in a new theater. It's sort of the spirit lives on of everything that's happened here.
The Liberty Center is now the showcase to a weekly Cajun music radio and TV show known as Rendez-vous des Cajuns. It has been described as part Louisiana hayride and part Prairie Home Companion. Tell me about the Saturday night shows here.
Well, the Saturday night shows are extremely well known. We've got folks from all over the United States that have come. It's been going on since the 80s. There are bands, different Cajun bands, new, young, and upcoming bands, and old traditional bands that are famous that come here and play at very reduced fees because it's a great honor to come here. And Barry Ancelet generally serves. Dr. Barry Ancelet from ULL is generally the master of ceremonies, and he has all that great knowledge of the Cajun culture. And he's comical and addresses the crowd, and the crowd interacts, and there's dancing and all of that. It's just a great fun thing.
The spring of 2007 will mark the 1,000th performance of Rendez-vous des Cajuns.
Yeah. It's a way of life. Once you play, you play. And it can be a very happy medium. It can be a very sad medium. It's not like beer guzzling honky-tonk music that just says, my girl stole my truck and left me. You know, this was truly sad, some of the songs and all, but it was a way of passing history on when they sang the song, so they kept it. And now there are thousands of Cajun musicians, and some of them are so good. Some of them are 14 years old and they sound like they playing music from the 1900s. It's unreal, but it's kind of like the glue that holds it all together.
When the Liberty Theater was built in 1924, it was hailed as Southwest Louisiana's premier temple of amusement. Now, Eunice is also the home to the World Championship Crawfish Etouffee Cook-Off in March and the Prairie Cajun Folklife Festival in October. For more information on Louisiana's Prairie Cajun capital, you can go online at www.eunice-la.com.